Hi guys, and welcome to my tour of my own Pleasantview. I've been playing this Pleasantview for about a year and a half, maybe a little bit more now, and I just feel like I want to share it. I love watching people's videos on their own personal Pleasantviews. I love watching streams of Pleasantviews, and I've always wanted to do my own, but I've never played Pleasantview long enough. Actually, the Pleasantview I had before this, I actually played for just over a year, but then I sadly lost it all. My computer just broke down and I didn't save anything because I was stupid like that. This time, I've learnt my lesson and I have actually saved quite a lot. Um, but as a result, I have actually been playing this Pleasantview for, just over a year and a half now, and I've got quite far into it. So I feel like it's kind of at a time and a place where I want to document it, because in a couple of rounds from now, a lot of the original Sims from the start of the Pleasantview, they're actually going to be all either dead or old. So I feel like we're now at a perfect place where a lot of the original Sims are still here, but the new Sims are about to take over. So I feel like if I waited a few more rounds, a lot of the Sims wouldn't be recognizable. I am really sorry if the audio is bad. I'm currently literally just holding up my PlayStation 5 headphones to my mouth just so you can hear my voice. And also, if it's dead silence, then I apologise, but this is literally my first video, and I don't expect anybody to watch this. This is mainly just for me. But if anyone is watching this and anyone likes watching people's Pleasantviews, then I appreciate any kind of feedback or anything that you can give me. Or if you like my own Pleasantview, then give me a like. So as you can see, the town is a bit different than what you start out as. It's mainly because I like to play with a really full, rich town. Even though a lot of the lots are empty, all these lots down here are empty, I like the aesthetic of appearing that as a fully realized town. So when you're playing in a household, you can see just your whole street is just full of houses, or when you're in a community lot, you can see all the other community lots around you. I just really like that, and it's really pleasing to see when you're in map view, the whole town is full. It does create a little problem when you do want to create a new lot and there's no space, but I just really like it. And I also move around a lot as well, because I've never thought that it made sense that the condos are here when you start the game with the palm trees. So I always move them to either this one or this area, just because I think that just makes a lot more sense, because there is a kind of a beach kind of area here, so I always treat this as the condo area. I also move some of the nice houses, like the Goth Manor, just because I like to create neighborhoods in this game. So you kind of the condo district, you have the really nice area, and then you have kind of some medium kind of normal family homes. Then you have the more apartments in these areas. You have the downtown area. Then you have some more individual little tiny neighborhoods. But yeah, a bit about the way I play. I play once based, but loosely. Over time, I've kind of adopted my own play style, so I do mainly play once based, but if I have a storyline for one of my Sims that doesn't reflect the wants that they're rolling, I will just go ahead and just play that storyline out. But I will still take into account their wants. For example, if I have a Sim that isn't rolling any wants to have kids or get married, but I feel for me that they would have at least one child or two children, let's say, and they would eventually get married to their long-term partner, I would just go ahead and do that. I don't always do that. A lot of the times I do stick to the wants and it does play well, but there are certain Sims that have felt that I feel that they would do that, so I'll just go ahead and do it. Also, just recently I have started to play with the idea of sub aspirations, so that just because my Sim is a romance Sim doesn't mean that they're always going to be a serial cheater. It could just mean that they like romance and they just want to find the one, so they might go on several dates when they're younger, but eventually they will settle down and like have that perfect whirlwind romance and like be together for the rest of their lives. Just because I felt like if I had like, because I have a lot of romance sims in this town unfortunately, and if I were to keep with the idea that every romance sim just wants to just woohoo with everybody and ends up with loads of like babies with different people, then I'd basically have about 10 clones of Don Lothario, and I didn't want that. So I came across a YouTube video, I'm not sure who it was by, but they were talking about their playstyle and that they play with subcategories. So family sims will have different subcategories of family sims, so you don't end up with a family sim that has always wants to have 6 or 10 children. Like sometimes they might just want to have a small family. And I kind of like that idea, so I have just started playing with it, and I haven't like assigned any of them to my sims just yet, but I will be. I do keep my sims on a tracking sheet, which I will show you, just 1 second. So as you can see here, I do keep them all on a tracking sheet. I haven't filled all this in, I'm not very good at filling it in. And if there's any spelling mistakes, just ignore them. But I keep the basic stuff. You know what I mean? Each family just gets jotted down here. You see, I have a lot of families now, and I'm currently on round 10. I'm like 2/3 of it away. I'm currently on the Pleasants, but it's just a basic tracking sheet. I don't keep anything fancy, just their aspirations. I've only just started playing with secondary aspirations, and I haven't filled everyone else in because I was using a calculator, and it was quite tedious. I can't lie. So it was fun at first, but eventually, like as you can see, I kind of got down to like the Don, and I just stopped doing it because it just took way too long to like fill in everything about my sim just to get the aspiration, like secondary aspiration. But I have just decided in the Pleasant household, which I'm currently playing, to just randomize the secondary aspiration. So I'll just use randomizer, just pick 1 to 4 because I don't play with pleasure or grilled cheese. So I'll just pick 1 to 4, and then it rolls a 2. So then I go on the thing, and I just pick the one that it's chosen. So it's a bit more random, just because I just don't want to have to fill in all the interest points and their personality points and their hobbies and everything like that just to get the fact that they might be a secondary romance, when I could just randomize it. And also it will also make the town a bit more diverse, because over time I have noticed that a lot of like certain aspirations are very, very common compared to others. So for example, I have a lot of romance sims in my game, unfortunately. So yeah, so doing like secondary aspirations will help with that, but also doing kind of random secondary aspirations will really help with that, and it will kind of make the game a bit more unique for me. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to each household, and I'm just going to show you around their house, what they're doing, and kind of like their backstory. The only household I'm not going to show is the Ramirez's household, just because I've just added them in. For many rounds I kept saying to myself I'm going to add them in, but I just never did. But now I'm on round 10, I thought now is a good time to add them in, and I'm kind of thinking like every like 5 rounds I'm going to add in like a new family. So all I've done for them this round is literally just move them into a new house, because I didn't really like the house they were living at. Tessa aged up to a teenager, and they just had a baby named Juliet. And as you can see, that also Chico did sell his shop, just because like I was playing it, and I played it for like 3 days, and each day he was making like no money, and all the customers were walking out. The employee like quit, so I just thought, okay, so this is clearly like a failed business. So in my mind, he sold a shop just to save the fact that like he needs money. So I haven't actually played with like the repercussions on that, but I'm going to play more of them like next round. But I just don't feel like there's anything worth showing, just because I've literally just played like 1 round with them and that's it. But we will be going to the very first household, which is the Dreamer household. So here we are in the Dreamer household. This is the outside of the house. Now I didn't build this. I'm not a very good builder when it comes to The Sims 2. I have built some of the houses, which you will see later on, but I'm more of like a decorator when it comes to The Sims 2. In The Sims 4, I can build quite well, like I will say that. But in The Sims 2 and The Sims 3, like I do struggle a little bit. But I am quite good at decorating for the most part. You may get inside and you may think this is really ugly, but I think I do pretty well. But this house here comes from Mod The Sims. And I've just done it up slightly. Like this area is new, and like on the inside I've like changed it up a little bit. This is the house. It's quite nice. It's quite simple. They're not like, I mean, like Dirk does have a really good job. He's actually maxed out his job, but they don't actually have a lot of money, as you can see. It's because they actually are still paying back this house, and that's something that I have in my gameplay. Is that like not all the Sims will have just money just to buy a house, and that's that. So some Sims will just have to get out loans if they want a house, because I don't like the idea of like my Sims have to have the actual physical money just to get a house, because then like for me, like none of my Sims will have houses until they're like halfway through their adult stage. Whereas, you know what I mean, like if I actually include loans, which I do have the loan jar mod, it adds a bit more realism, because you know a lot of people in real life will, you know what I mean, will get a loan just to get a mortgage. And Dirk doesn't come from a rich family, so it felt realistic to me for him to have a loan for this house, which he's still paying back, and he is quite far into his adult life stage. But he has added on to it. So as you can see, this part of the house used to be actually the garage. Used to be a physical garage, and also the kitchen used to only be this wide. But over time, they have actually renovated the house, and I've added on to the loan. So the loan jar is here. So he still has 23,000 simoleons to pay back, but it was a lot higher. I think originally it was like 60 something thousand simoleons, and it got down to like 40, but then I added more on to pay for the renovations. So he's slowly getting there. So, and now that the renovations are complete, and I don't think I'm going to be adding on to the house anymore. I think like they should get it paid off quickly, because he is maxed out in his career. So hopefully soon they will actually be rolling in a bit more money. But yeah, this is the house. So I'll give a quick tour of the house before I explain the whole family dynamic. But yeah, this is the hallway. The hallway actually came like this. I didn't actually decorate this. It's actually quite nice. I didn't actually touch this. I just thought it was quite nice. You come into the living room. The furniture is quite basic, just because again they don't have a lot of money, so I just feel like they wouldn't have loads of decorations and knickknacks everywhere. It's quite basic. But I quite like it. I feel like the family is quite like minimalistic anyway. This room is empty. It's literally just got a bike, but it will be getting used fairly soon. We have a bathroom down here. Come in here. Here's the dining room. Originally, this was the living room and the dining room. When I first like plopped down the house, it was like a tiny living room here and a tiny little dining room where literally only two of the seats could be used. And then you got the kitchen, which again I did extend, so this area is new. Beforehand it was just this like U-shaped, but like all my Sims would like, for some reason all my Sims would like hang out in here. Like even if they're not eating or doing anything, like all my Sims would just come home and they would all just standing in this little tiny space and like talk, and then one of them will want to go to the bathroom, one of them want to go and play chess, and they're all just like getting stuck. So I just decided to just use some of their money and make it a little bit more bigger. And then if you come upstairs, you've got a simple hallway. I never know what to do with hallways, so this is literally basic as anything. It literally has some skill building stuff, and this used to be where I stored all the toddler stuff. but now we don't have toddlers, but I am keeping it because we do have another baby on the way. And we do have 2 simple bathrooms. Again, these were here, so I quite like them. I hate decorating bathrooms in The Sims because I don't know, it's just they always make them just too simple. But these are already here, so I just kept them. They're quite nice, simple. We have the master bedroom. It's quite nice. Just a red and orange colour scheme. Again, minimalistic. And then the kids' bedrooms, which I haven't actually decorated for their current life state at the moment. So this is the youngest kid's room, which beforehand was actually like nicely decorated for like a toddler. But he's just aged up to a child, so, and it was at the end of the round, and I just couldn't be bothered to decorate. So I thought, when I get back to this family in the next round, that's when I would decorate. So for now, he's literally just got a basic bed. So I probably will make it a space-themed bedroom, but for now, it's literally just a basic bed. And then again, for the twins room, they've just aged up to teenagers, and they still have their kiddies beds, but the actual decorations are fine. So I don't think I will do too much to this room. I think I might just give them like new bedding, and potentially like a desk or something. Because I think here was where all their toys were. They had like stuffed animals and like toy boxes stuff like that, and I had some like more kiddie stuff on the wall. I got rid of some of it. But I think I might add like a desk here, like dirty laundry or something like that here. Yeah, but that's the house. Nothing too special, but again, quite like a minimalistic family, don't have a lot of money, so I don't think they would have like loads of decorations everywhere and be like nice and fancy. It's just a basic family house, like it just, you know what I mean? Like this, to me, this is just like a house I would go around to one of my friends' house and this would be their house, you know what I mean? But anyway, we'll move on to the Sims themselves. So Dirk here, we all know Dirk. He starts out as a teenager. He is now, I would say, probably like late 30s, I would say. I do play with a custom lifespan. It's nothing too drastic. It just makes it so the adults are adults for 60 days instead of 29, and the teenagers I've reduced down to 12 days instead of the 14 or 15. I always get confused between Sims 2 and Sims 3 for the lifespan. It's either 14 or 15 days as the standard, but I've made it so now they're only 12 days. So it just gives the Sims a little bit more time before they become elders, just because the base game lifespan is just diabolical. I never play with a base game lifespan, like not since I was like a little kid, just because like my Sims would have like teenagers and they would already be like nearly dead. So it didn't make much sense. So I always play with a custom lifespan, and this just felt like the most sense to me. And I also play with 4 days per round because I have a 4-day season mod. So each round kind of doesn't, it represents like a year or two that goes in their life. It isn't like exact. So, but I would say Dirk is around like, 36 to 38 years old. Like I said, he is in the business career. He's level 10. He did go to university and studied, and he got his diploma, which I can't remember what diploma he got. I don't know if does it tell you? I don't know if it tells you. I don't know. I can't remember what diploma he got, but it got him good in his career because he started out with level 4, level 5 of his career. And most of his wants have been about his career because he is a fortune sim. And I think he's secondary. He's secondary family. Okay. He's secondary family. But his fortune aspiration has pretty much carried him through his career because all he's wanted to do is just work on his skills. As you can see, he has max logic, he has high charisma, like these are good for his career. These are what he's needed. So he's been able to like work up his career. But like, obviously the money hasn't shown because he's still paying back the house. But I think it will now come to that point, like I said, where his high career will start paying off. But yeah, but that's Dirk. And then we'll move on to his wife, Adriana. So Lilith is out of the picture. So Lilith and Dirk, they both went to college. And while they're in college, they just kept arguing, just non-stop. They were just arguing, being mean to each other. So for me, I felt like that was them saying that they grew apart. So while they were together, while they were teenagers, going to college, they just kind of grew apart. They became different people. So I broke them up. I broke them up in the last year of college. And then after college, Dirk moved in with Angela and Dustin. They lived in a little townhouse together, and eventually, on a night out, he met Adriana. And they held off really well. I play with ACR, so um, it does get a bit crazy, but I have tuned it. So even with a tuned ACR, they still like hit it off like really well. Like there was flirting non-stop. They woohooed. I'm fairly sure like public woohooed in like a photo booth like within a few hours of the meeting. But they hit it off, and eventually they moved in together, and then eventually they bought this house. And she fell pregnant with twins. It was at that moment they actually got engaged. He rolled a want to propose to her, so they went out for a nice meal and they proposed, but they've only just got married. Like the round I just played with them, they've only just got married, and that's because they didn't really want to get married, and also I felt like because of their money problems and that they were busy like raising a family and also paying back the house, they just didn't have the money to like have a really expensive wedding, so they just kind of like put it to the back burner. And in my mind, that like to them, the idea of marriage wasn't that important. Like, yeah, they'll get to it one day, but you know what I mean? They love each other. They're gonna get married one day. To them, they're already married. Sorry, but they have just got married because they did finally roll the want to get married, and it was kind of perfect timing because they've just finished renovating the house. The kids have gotten older, and now they roll the want to get married. So I felt like it was perfect timing. And they actually got married on the same day that their two eldest children became teenagers. So it was a big family day. They invited all the family around. They had the birthday parties and then they had the wedding in the evening. It was really nice. Um, and also, she is actually expecting a fourth child. They rolled a want to have a child. Now, for a while, she actually rolled, she had a want to have a child and a fear. So when my Sims have a fear to have a child, I would put them on birth control. But eventually she stopped rolling that, and then immediately after she stopped rolling that, they ACR'd, woohooed, and she became pregnant. So she became pregnant with a fourth child. This will be their final child. I don't have like a hard limit on like number of babies my Sims can have, like based on aspiration. Like I know like some people will have it, so family Sims can have 6 kids, romance Sims can only have 1. I don't do that. I just kind of based it on my own personal vibes, you know what I mean? So I may have it so some Sims will have 6, some Sims will have 2, some Sims will have 3. It just depends on what I feel. So this will be their final child. Even if they roll once to have more children, they're not having any more. Like 4 is enough. But yeah, so that's Adriana. She is unemployed. She did have a job, and I can't remember what job she had. I think it might have been a teaching job, and I think she got fired or she quit. I can't remember. Let me have a look. She did. She got fired. Yes. Does it tell you, like, what job she got? No. Oh, no, hang on. Yes, she was a teacher. Yes, and she got fired. Yes, because with the chance cards, I randomize it. So I just roll 1 to 100. So 1 to 50, I pick option A, and 51 to 100, I pick option B. And I just picked an option. She got fired. So yeah, that's that. I don't know if she'll come back into a career. She actually has a lifetime want to become a captain hero, but I kind of ignore that because a lot of my Sims want to become captain heroes, and I do have a few Sims that are in the law enforcement career, so I kind of just ignore that. With the aspirations, I kind of lifetime wants, I kind of ignore slash take notice of. It just depends how I'm feeling. But yeah, I don't know if she'll get in a new career. She hasn't rolled any wants to. I don't really care if she does or not. I don't feel like she needs to be. So she may just become like, a stay-at-home mom for now. Cliche, typical stay-at-home mom. But yeah, I think she is actually a secondary pleasure. she's one of the only ones that actually has the secondary pleasure. That's because of the organizer that I had for it. It just rolled that she was a pleasure, and I just decided to go with it because the other option was romance, and I thought, no, thank you. All my Sims are like rolling romance, so I was like, no, I'll just play with pleasure. But now I'm doing the randomizer. I'm not going to include pleasure just because pleasure really overpowers your Sims, and all they want to do is just like go bowling or go partying or play video games, and it's like even though I would consider myself a pleasure sim, I don't want to play with that in The Sims because it just gets really boring really fast. So we move on to the kids. Now all the kids have just kind of aged up, so they haven't really got a personality for them just yet. I don't really know what they're going to do in life. ACR has decided a little bit while playing with other families, but this is Blake Dreamer, one of the twins, and this one is Chloe Dreamer. So these are twins, just aged up 2 days ago. Chloe is a family sim and Blake is a popularity sim. Now they do actually have relationships, so Blake here has actually got a crush, and he had a first kiss with Ellie Pleasant, which is actually Lilith's oldest daughter. So it's quite funny that even though Dirk and Lilith, I mean, they haven't been together for like 20 plus years at this point, but their oldest children are currently dating. So yeah, that was ACR. Again, ACR is wild, even with it being tuned. While I was playing with Lilith's family, I think she invited Blake round, and they ended up having a first kiss, and they just ended up like playing together in the front yard, and I decided to be. I'm not sure if it would go anywhere. But let time decide. Again, only just became teenagers, so I don't really particularly like map out my Sims life until they become adults. But yeah, and same with Chloe. She is actually currently dating Angela's oldest boy, Preston. So it's kind of funny that the original teenagers of Pleasantview have kind of now got kids, and all their kids are now starting to become together. But yeah, I'm not sure about that either. It could go somewhere, it could go nowhere. They've only just become teenagers, so I don't know. I've still got plenty of time, still got a few more rounds until they become adults anyway. And then they've got little Luke, which, like the others, just aged up literally a day ago. No idea. I think he's going to be a family sim, so he could be anything. I have no idea. He's got nothing really on him. But yeah, that is the family. Cute little family, quite wholesome. It's just a standard, suburban family. I like playing with suburban families, and I also like playing with like drama. So you will see that. You will see like some families are just like picture perfect families, and some are like full of drama. But this one is quite nice to play. It's quite chill. It's quite relaxed. I quite like coming here to this household. It's always quite nice, and it's quite down to earth. They're not rolling in cash. They do struggle a little bit, even though they have a nice job. But yeah, this was the Dreamer family. Next up, we have the Pleasant/Louis household, which consists of Angela Pleasant. Now, this house I actually did build myself. I actually quite like it. It's one of the only builds, like I have a few others, but one of the only builds I actually built from scratch. But I actually quite like it. It's quite nice. So this is where Angela lives with her family. So first of all, let's just do a tour of the house. So you come in, and it's the entryway. I kind of went for like a slight pink theme. It's quite nice. Leads straight up to the stairs. It's quite nice when you go up the stairs and it's like, and you look all the way down. I kind of like that. It's kind of nice. You have the living room, again, kind of slight pink theme. I feel like Angela would like pink. I don't know if that's like stereotypical, but you know what I mean. I just feel like she would like pink. Living room, quite nice, simple but nice. This way you have the dining room. It's more black. You have a dirty plate. That's charming. Yeah, it's quite nice as well. Is that mirror floating? Oh my god, that mirror's floating. Oh my god. I've lived in this. They've lived in this house for like 2 or 3 rounds, and this mirror's always been floating. Never mind. Ignore that. And then you got 2 simple bathrooms, and then you got kind of this like little, part of the kitchen, but not. This is the back garden, and this is the kitchen, which I do really like. I do love kitchens. In real life, like kitchens are like my favorite room. In real life, as well as Sims. So I actually really like this kitchen. It's quite cute, quite nice custom kitchen. I use a lot of custom content. If you want to know where any of it is, it mainly is like Mod Sims or Tumblr. I use like Pleasant Sims and Cotton Socks kind of tumblers and websites to get a lot of my CC. But yeah, I do have a lot of CC. So that's downstairs. We also have a garage. They have a back garden, but it doesn't really get used. Like this is probably the weak point of the house. It's literally just a tiny back garden, but they don't really use it. Like the kids use the monkey bars, but that's about it. Like it doesn't get used. And then upstairs we have a hallway, again sparse, but it's a lot nicer than Dirk's hallway. It's a bit more decorated. You have a bathroom, spare bedroom, which again is about to be used. You have the master bedroom, which I really like this room. It's like dark woods and like yellow tones. I really like this room. It's quite nice. I swear I did have a rug in here, but I think it got deleted. Because I swear there was a rug in here. I think it got deleted. Sometimes like I will come into a house and like certain objects would just be deleted randomly. It happens in all my Sims games. In like Sims 4, sometimes like stuff will just randomly get deleted, which again I expect that for the Sims 4. But yeah, I swear there was a rug in here. But anyway, it's a nice room. And you come in here, this is the oldest bedroom. This is really nice, orange theme. So when I want to decorate, I can actually decorate, as you can see, and like with Dirk's, like kids, their rooms are not decorated yet, but you know what I mean. This one I have actually took the time to decorate. Still, I'm not like a pro in decorating. I'm sure there's a lot of other people who can decorate this 10 times better than me. It's not like Tumblr word or anything, but you know what I mean. It's quite nice. It's quite cute. It's a typical teenager's room, very nice. And then this is the youngest room. Quite nice. But yeah, this is the house. It's quite a nice house. Angela is a little bit more well off than what Dirk was, so they do actually have quite a nice house. And she has a nice career, and so does her partner, so they could afford it. They didn't have to take out a loan or anything. They could simply afford it. They had a lot of savings as well. In the last place that they lived at, like I do have the Monique's hat computer with the banking system, so they had a lot in savings. So they bought this house with like both of their savings, and they still have some savings left. And then obviously they have the money here, so they are actually quite well off. They're not like super rich, but you know what I mean, they're like a well-off family. So they're able to pay for this house, and I'm pretty impressed with this house. It's quite nice. It's in a nice neighborhood as well. It's like on the edge of town. It's like the northern part of town. It's quite nice. But let's get into the actual Sims. So first of all, we have Angela, which, spoiler alert, she is pregnant. This is one of the examples of saying that I play with want space loosely, but I will decide for certain stuff, because she didn't roll the want to have a third child, and ACR also, they did woohoo, like risky woohoo ACR a few times, and she wasn't getting pregnant. But for me personally, I feel like she would have a third child, so I was just like, you're going to be pregnant with a third child, and that's that. So yeah, that's one of the examples of like playing the way I want to play. It's not going to be strict. So if I feel like a sim should do this certain thing, I will just do it. If it feels like it's in character with them. So I feel like Angela would want a third child. They have this spare room, and she's very motherly, so I feel like that would be the case. So anyway, let's get into Angela's backstory, because hers is a little bit more complicated than what Dirk's was. So she went off to college, just like Dirk and Lilith and Dustin. They all went off to college together. Because in my game, I made them all the same age, because at the start, I just wanted it to just be simple, so they all had the exact same amount of days left. So they're all the same age, and they all went to college together. Like I said, Lilith and Dirk, they broke up, but Dustin and Angela didn't. They stayed together. Very loving relationship. But once they got out of college, another story. So Angela, Dirk, and Dustin all moved into a townhouse together, and all was going well for a little while. But eventually, Dustin actually had an affair with Dina Caliente. And this was quite shocking, and it was not my doing. It was purely the wants system that made it so this happened. So I'll get more into it when I get to like Dustin, but basically Dustin actually worked in the same career as what Dina did. So Dustin kept bringing Dina home, but it was all like very friendly and nothing to it. But when I would play as Dina, she actually kept rolling wants to flirt with him. So I just let it happen, and they are like super in love. They had an affair, but Dustin eventually did tell Angela, and Angela was actually pregnant at the time with Dustin's baby, but she didn't know and he didn't know. It just happened, and she actually miscarried, which she saw as like a blessing in disguise in a way, because when she found out she was pregnant, she was kind of like gutted, because she'd just broken up with Dustin, but now she's pregnant with his child and she's going to be stuck with him for like the rest of her life. But she did miscarry, which she was sad about, but she was a blessing in disguise, because it means that she didn't have to, you know what I mean, keep in touch with her ex for the rest of her life. So she moved into a small place by herself, downtown, and eventually she met Preston here. No, not Preston. Blair. He's a townie. He's a townie. I don't know what pack he comes with. He might be a downtownie. But yeah, he's a townie. And they just hit it off. And they haven't really gone anywhere too far in their relationship. They're just boyfriend and girlfriends, and they've been together for quite a while now. They haven't really wanted to get married or felt the need to. And in my mind, I kind of see that. I kind of see that like Angela's not really bothered about the whole getting married thing. She's just fine with their relationship. But they have 2 kids together. At first, it was just a fling, and she wasn't sure if it was going to go anywhere. Even when Preston was born, like they didn't live together for a while. Um, it was when she became pregnant with her second child that's when they decided to become more serious, and they decided to live together. Um, and then eventually, obviously, they pulled their money together and bought this house. And they've been living in here for a little while now, like a couple of rounds. I think like Charlotte was like a baby when they moved in here, and she's now a child. Yeah, she's almost a teenager. So they've been living here for quite a while. On top of that, she is quite high in her career. She's a police chief, so she is quite high. She also works with Brandy. Now, which is quite sweet in my game, is that her and Brandy had stayed best friends even after like she, you know what I mean, her and Dustin were finished. Her and Brandy stayed best friends, and to me, Brandy is like a second mom to her. Um, every time Angela comes home from work, she wants to bring home Brandy. Every time I play as Brandy and she comes home from work, she wants to bring home Angela. They always have wants, like she has wants right now, to play with her, appreciate her. whenever I play Brandy wants to invite her over. Like, it's so cute that they have stayed in touch, and it's like second mom and second daughter, kind of relationship. But yeah, they work together in the law enforcement career, and she's quite high. She's got a few more skills to go to level up, but she hasn't rolled any once, so she may stay as police chief, but that's fine. Not everyone needs to be. She does actually want to be in a law career, but like I said, I half take notice of that, half don't. I kind of pay more attention to the wants if they roll a want for their career rather than a lifetime want. Just depends how I feel. But yeah, she's popularity, and she is actually secondary family. So because she's secondary family, that does make sense that she would want, a third child just to round it up. And that's about it for her. I don't think there's much else to tell. We move on to Blair. Now, Blair hasn't really got much of a story just because he is a townie. So, I haven't really got much of a backstory for him, but he is in the Slacker career. He's a professional party guest. I don't like this career just because of the hours, but he was already in it when he moved in, so I just kept it. I don't think. What does he want? He actually wants to be a doctor. Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, it was already there. It's a lot of money, so I'll just keep it in there. There is another sim that I have in the top of the Slacker career, and I don't like it. I don't like this career. I don't mind the early stages, but the late ones I don't like. And one of my sims is like level 9, and I refuse to make them to go to level 10 because I don't want a third sim to be in this in level 10 of career. But yeah, he's nice. He's very, very, family man. He's a fortune sim, and he is also secondary romance. But this is where the whole subcategory comes into play, where I wouldn't feel like, because he is a secondary romance, I don't think he would be like a serial romantic where he wants to go and cheat on Angela and have loads of like babies with other people. Like, to me, like, he's romantic in a way that, like, he just, he loves romance and he likes to go on dates with Angela, and he likes that lifestyle, and he's found the one, but doesn't necessarily mean he has to get married. He loves love, and that's how I categorize him, as him being secondary romance. But yeah, that's him. Not much to him. Someone like the downtownies and townies, like, who become part of the families, I don't have much to say just because I don't focus on them as much as like the Pleasantview Sims, or their children. But yeah, he's fine. He's very, very close with Charlotte. Like, I will get into Charlotte a bit, but Charlotte is very much a daddy's girl. So yeah, he does love his children. He has a perfect relationship with his son as well. Like, he is just wholesome man. Like, just a lovely man. Next up is their eldest son, who, if you remember, is actually currently having a bit of a fling with Chloe Dreamer. But yeah, he's just aged up too. He's very, very young. Aged up literally a day ago. He's a fortune sim. He's a secondary. I think he's secondary knowledge, if I remember rightly. Yeah, he's secondary knowledge. So I don't know what he's going to be just yet. He wants to be a space pirate, whatever that means. So I don't know. Maybe he's in private school. Both of them are in private school. I feel like that is very fitting. Like, Angela would want, her kids to be in the best school, we live in the best neighborhood and the best school. Like, she's very like prim and proper that way. So they're in high school. They're in private school. And they got perfect grades. Something I didn't mention with the Dreamers is that, like, the homework system and the way I do it depends on the aspiration, because if you notice, like, teenage sims don't tend to roll wants to do homework. They will do sometimes, but most aspirations they don't. So the way I do homework in The Sims 2 with teenagers is based on aspiration. So fortune and knowledge sims will always do their homework every day, no matter what, even if they don't roll a one. And then family and popularity sims will do homework once or twice a week. So maybe on a Friday they'll just cram all their homework in and just get it done over the weekend. And then romance sims will only do their homework if they actually roll a want to. or if their parents are strict. So Dustin, for example, when I get to him, you'll know more, but I see him as a strict parent, and he wants the best for his children. So all of his children are actually romance sims, and one of his children let their homework pile up. So eventually, he just made his child do all the homework because it's like, no, you're not failing, you're not doing a me when I was a teenager. You're getting your homework done. So I'm gonna sit out here and go on the telescope in the front yard while you do all your homework. It has like 5 or 6 pieces of homework. So that's how I do the homework system. So because he's Fortune, he always does his homework. So every time, I don't think there's any here. Like they normally lay out here. Um, so every time he comes home, he will do his homework, or at least at some point during the evening, he will do his homework because he is a Fortune sim. Same as Charlotte, when she grows up, she's going to be a knowledge, so she'll always do her homework. But if he was a romance sim or something like that, he would only do it if either Angela made him to, or if he actually really want to. And that means it just gives a bit more like variation of what my sim wants to do in terms of if they want to go to college or not. But yeah, so he's a perfect straight A student, perfect prim and proper boy, dresses smart. I feel like he very much like takes after Angela, and he's going to become a little mini Angela. And then we have Charlotte here. Charlotte is very much a daddy's girl, like I said. Loves her dad. She is close with her mom, but not as much. Like she's very much a daddy's girl. Like even when she was like a baby and a toddler, like it was mainly him who would come over and like take care of her. So yeah, not much to her. Kids, I don't know much of what they're gonna do. Like she's knowledge sim, so I can see her being like a proper genius. She's probably gonna go to college. I have no idea who she would probably be with. I don't know. But yeah, she's a cute sim. I've looked at what she's going to look like when she gets older, and she's actually quite a good-looking sim. Like she takes after Angela quite a lot. I do actually have the correct faces for Angela. Angela, Lilith, Cassandra, and Alexander. I have like the genetically correct faces, so they do look slightly different. So you may think, oh, she doesn't look like Angela. It's because I actually like changed their faces. But yeah, but that's the Pleasant household. One of the Pleasant households, anyway. Again, quite a cute household. Some drama with Angela when she was younger, but it's calmed down now. A little bit more well off compared to the Dream household. And expanding family once more. But yeah, that is the Pleasant household. And now we are in the next Pleasant household, which is Lilith's house. So this is actually an apartment. So this is like a two shell apartment right now. It's not too bad. It is quite glitchy. Like I like the actual place, but I think I will have to move eventually, just because the landlord is just obsessed with trying to get inside. And also I can't use the garage. I think it's because there's not an actual door that leads into the garage. So, but I can't be able to fix it. But for some reason, the landlord really wants to come out in here. I don't know if it's because of this bush, but I think I've only just placed this because, like, yeah. So I don't understand, but it's fine. It's a nice house and it's quite cute. I didn't build it. Mod the Sims. But yeah, it's quite cute. They've only just moved in as well. Beforehand, they lived in like some row apartment blocks, but they've just moved here. But yeah, let's get into the house tour first of all. So I've decorated all the inside. So this is you come in, this is the living room. You see like a red themed, quite nice, red and black. I quite like red and black. Red and black's like my favourite colours in real life, so I quite like it, it's quite nice. Quite bold, I don't really like these, but they're quite bold, and I just thought Lilith would like bold stuff, so I felt that kind of fit her vibe. Sim blender. You'll see I have a sim blender in every single house. Kitchen I haven't touched. Kitchen was like this. I did add this, I think I added this, but the kitchen stayed the same. I just thought, yeah, that's fine, looks fine. I added the opera cabinets though, because their CC. That's fine. Cute little back garden, nothing to it. They've just got some skill stuff that they use for their jobs. Cute bathroom, then the upstairs. You got Lilith's room. It's quite nice. I quite like the records. I quite like that. Just because she was in the music career, I will get into what she does now, but she was in the music career, so I kind of felt like that was quite nice. Kind of fit her a little bit. You got hallway again, Sparta hallway with the potty in it. Classic hallway for me. And then you got the eldest daughter's room, Ellie's. This is really nice. I quite like this room. Purple and pinks, really nice. And then you have the latest edition, which I haven't really decorated. Just because I was probably not in the mood. You can tell when I'm not in the mood to decorate, because I'll leave a family and there'll be like one room that's just like not decorated. You're like, I clearly ran out of inspiration. But yeah, this is just their youngest bedroom, and then obviously you have an ensuite up here. That's the house. It's quite small. But again, it's like a rented house. Like Lilith's never actually owned a house. Like she hasn't really got that far in life yet. Like she's always rented. She's always lived in like apartments, or she's lived back home. But yeah, it's quite nice. It's quite a nice house for them, for their little family. It's not a big family. But let's get into The Sims. So Lilith is Lilith, as you know. Like her and Dustin broke up, which I said back in the Dreamer household. Once that happened, she moved back home, which, if you know The Sims 2 lore, like she doesn't really get along with her parents, but she moved back home, and it wasn't the best experience for her because she didn't want to get in a career. Like she had no wants. She just wanted to be at home. Like she graduated college, she broke up with her boyfriend. She's not living by herself. Like she's back home with her parents. She wasn't very, very happy. And she kind of just moped around the house for quite a while. She still didn't have a best relationship with her parents. She did have a good relationship with her younger siblings, which I will get into when I get into the other Pleasant households. But she does have younger siblings, and she's really, really close to them, and she still is now. But she never patched up her relationship with Angela, and she never really patched her relationship with her mum or dad. She has recently, the round that I just played with her, she did actually like want to call her mum up a couple of times. So I feel like she's starting to want to repair a relationship with her mum, and I think it's because like Mary Sue and Daniel are very close to dying. So I feel like it's kind of like because they're getting old, she's finally kind of wanting to just see if she could have a relationship with her parents, but it hasn't really gone too far. I don't think anyway. Like, yeah, like I can't. Yeah, she rang her mum up a couple of times. Maybe they disagreed on a lot of things. Yeah, they still have zero relationship. Like, yeah, even though they called up a few times, still nothing. They probably disagreed and argued on the phone. So it's probably a lost cause, to be fair. But yeah, but eventually she actually wanted to go into the music career. Um, And she done really well. She actually done really well in the music career for quite a while. And she met somebody at the music career. She met Sanjay. Now Sanjay is a BIM family sim. A BIM sim, sorry. And I, I totally forgot that he was a sim from the BIM. And I didn't know he had a wife. So she ended up having a fling with him, and they ACR'd, woohooed, and she ended up pregnant on the first night. And then I found out he has a wife. So in my mind, I kind of saw it that like they kind of had a few drinks after work, and he came home with her, and they had a one night stand, and it meant nothing. But she ended up pregnant, and yeah, she decided to keep the baby, but keep it hidden. Like he knew about it, but she decided to kind of keep it hidden so that he didn't have to tell his wife. And that is a result of Ellie. And that's the reason why Ellie has the Pleasant last name. because she decided to raise it as just her own daughter instead of giving his last name and giving suspicion on the wife. Now, the wife did eventually find out, and she is actually part of the rotation. She is actually with somebody in Pleasantview, which I will get to later on. But he isn't really involved. I just age him up manually at the end of each round. I just age him up 4 days. Just because I don't really have a storyline for him. If I ever do feel like I need to include him in something, then I will. But for now, he's just somebody that I just auto age up. But yeah, but while she was pregnant with Ellie, and still living at home with Mary Sue and Daniel, she ended up also meeting Jason. Now, Jason is also Italian. Jason's last name did used to be something different. It used to be something that I could not pronounce. It was a lot of random letters. I don't know if that was meant to be that way, or I don't know. But to me, I kind of saw him as that he was probably like European. So I actually looked on Google, like just like Eastern European names and last names, and one of them was Brunner. So I decided to just go into Simpy and change his last name to Brunner. Like I can pronounce that, but also it kind of keeps to like my kind of headcanon that he was from Europe. So yeah, so they kind of hit it off, but she, even though they were flirting, she wanted to like kind of pay attention to herself and also her future baby. She wanted to get an apartment, she wanted to start raising her baby before she decided anything on romance. So once Ellie was born, she moved into an apartment, and it was just her and Ellie for quite a while. Like it was just she worked on her career. She raised Ellie. Sanjay would come round when he can and looked after her. Like he is an active part of his daughter's life. But she kind of didn't really care about romance. Like she was just focused on her daughter. She just wanted to raise her daughter and provide for her. But eventually, once Ellie got a little bit older, she started rolling once to actually get to know Jason again, and it was kind of like she kind of felt comfortable now where her life was actually in a decent place. So she started flirting with Jason again. They started their romance up again, and one thing led to another, and he moved in. And for a while, she was actually trying for another baby, but they were really unsuccessful. Like they were trying a lot. Like they rolled a want to have a baby. They kept ACR automatically. I kept trying, and she just would not fall pregnant. And it was like I was getting to the point where I think like, oh, okay, maybe Lilith is infertile now. Like maybe she just can't have another child. Maybe we can just adopt. But then, just as I was about to give up, she actually finally got pregnant. So got pregnant with their second child, Sophia. Now I think like that is it for them. Like I don't really see them having any more children. Like Lilith has two. I think that's totally fine. Um, once the second child was born, that's when they moved into this like house, apartment slash house, like it's a rented house. But at the same time, she actually rolled a want to quit her job because she rolled a want to sell a best-selling novel, which she has done. She sold a few novels at this point. A couple of them have been flops, but she also has sold a good one. But yeah, she wanted to quit music and she wanted to start writing. So she's done that, and she's made a decent living out of it. She isn't the best author in the world, but yeah, she's just pursuing her passion now. Like music was like her first passion when she was a teenager and she was like young, but now she's getting a bit older. Reading and writing is now her new passion. And yeah, so she doesn't have a job at the moment, and she's just pursuing that. If it pays off in the long run, we don't know. She could end up wanting to go back into a new career or back into the music career, but for now, she's just a freelance writer. Also, they also just got engaged, so this was like something that I just decided for them, that I wanted them to just get engaged, because they weren't rolling any wants to get engaged. But I just decided that I feel like Lilith would want to get married. So he proposed to her. Nothing fancy. They ain't fancy people, so they literally had dinner at home and he just popped the question. And so in the next round, I feel like they're probably going to get married. And I feel like Mary Sue and Daniel are probably going to be dead by then, so unfortunately they won't get to see. But I think she would secretly would love to have her parents there. Like, she doesn't want to admit it, but I feel like she would want that. You know what I mean? I think she does yearn for that family, and it just never has come. And even her own family, like, a bit dysfunctional. You know what I mean? With her oldest daughter being the result of like a fling from a married man. But yeah, but that's Lilith. She's a popularity sim, secondary pleasure. She sees one of the pleasure sims, the other pleasure sims, and so is her boyfriend, I think. Yes, they're both secondary pleasure sims. I think that's it for the pleasure sims. It's just 3 pleasure sims, and that's all I'm doing. Um, but yeah, but that's her. Nothing too much else. So she's had. Yeah, she's also a maximum. So she's had an interesting life, a bit of a drama with. She's not had the most successful things with boys, but now she has with Jason. For now, anyway. We don't know. It could go. It could go up in flames. But yeah, look, she sold like a great novel, and then she was like, "I want to quit my job." Yeah. So with Jason, similar to Blair, he is a townie, so not much to him. Don't really focus on him. He's a gamer. I can't remember if I made him join the gamer career or if he was already in that. I can't remember. I think he might have already been in it. But yeah, he's a gamer. He's quite high in it. He wants to gain some skills. Not to do with his job, but anyway. So yeah, not much to him. Just a typical kind of bloke right now, to be fair. He's a downtowner again. I don't really pay attention to them. I gave him a makeover. I quite like the look of him. He's quite unique, I feel. Out of like a lot of my Sims, he's very unique. He's got a unique nose and mouth. Yeah, he's just very nice. He's got very nice genes, I think. So I think he might create some nice looking Sims. But now we move on to Ellie, which is obviously Lilith and Sanjay's daughter. She's very, very pretty. When she was a child, I was kind of concerned because when she was a child, she did look a bit funky. Not gonna lie, and I was kind of scared to see what she would look like as a teen, so I didn't bother doing it until she actually became a teen. And then when she did, I was actually quite surprised. I was like, oh, okay, she grew into her features. Because as a child, she had quite big ears and she had like a really pointy nose and really pointy cheeks, and like her eyes were quite big. And it was just, I was like, no. But no, she's grown into it. She's actually very, very pretty sim. She is the person who is actually currently having a little fling with Dirk's son, Blake. She is a fortune sim, straight A student because she's a fortune sim. So she always does her homework. She's a little bit older than some of the other teenagers we've seen so far. She's like halfway, nearly halfway. What does she want to be? Oh, okay. I hadn't actually seen that before. Okay, so she wants to be a business owner. Don't know if I'll do that. Again, I don't know what I want to do with her yet. Depends. They could end up being together. I don't know. I don't think she's gay or anything. No, she's not. But yeah, she's nice. I like her outfit. She's a very nice, nice girl. You know what I mean? Yeah, very nice girl. And then we have a youngest, which has just become a toddler. So literally, no idea whatsoever what she's going to be. She is going to be a knowledge sim. I do know that much. Her features are a bit odd. I think she is going to look like her dad. She has her dad's nose. So, but as a toddler, she does look a bit odd. She looks a bit angry. But I have faith she'll grow into a good looking sim. Because her dad is quite good looking and Lilith's quite good looking too. So, but I think that's about it for this household. There's not too much going on now. Like, Lilith had quite a dramatic early. Like, when she was in her 20s, she had quite a chaotic life, but now she's kind of settled down. But yeah, I don't know what's going to go on with the family from now, but this was just a little glimpse into their lives. But yeah, this was Lilith's family. So that's going to conclude part 1 of the Pleasantview tour, only because I've been recording for like over an hour and I've only done 3 households, so I'm probably going to split it up into 3 or 4 parts, but this is the end of the first part. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry if the audio was off or I was a bit quiet or awkward, but I've never done this before and I'm literally just doing this just to have my Pleasantview documented. I don't expect anybody to watch this, but if you do, thank you very much for watching this long, and I will see you in the next part. Bye.